Hi, I'm Steve. I'm going to introduce you to my 1936 Ford three-window coupe and the chassis and running line. The body goes on next week, so it's a proud moment. It's been a long time in the process. I first purchased this car in 1990 and it's been a labour of love. I haven't bothered about how long anything's taken, just as long as I'm happy, whatever it takes, it takes. So I'm happy to share it. And so what we've got here is a 8BA side valve Ford with some original ARDUN cylinder heads that were made in 1948. And these ones are the late model ARDUNs, and they're very different than what Don Ferguson was making now. You can buy these reproduction. The originals, they weren't without their problems. So it's been a lot of work to get them up to scratch. We've got one of Don Ferguson's Cadillac Oldsmobile Series 5 Scott replica blowers. They're slightly bigger than the V8 Ford ones and with a lot of other modifications internally. And they're a good heavy duty unit, bigger input shafts, bearings. You can't run these off a V-belt. These have got to use a wide belt. Underneath here is two auto-trend fuel injection carbies. This car is electronically fuel injected. It has 8 injectors underneath and 4 injectors on top. And it's all, you wouldn't know it, it's all secretly done through a fuel injection block with porting at the back, 2 fuel rails and all of the fuel direct injection underneath. As well as the 4 on top, just to keep the blower wet. That's its only purpose. I have built blown motors before with only injection on top, and you get an off throttle lean position, and I have detonated engines from it, shortened conrods, loosened blowers off, done internally damage, ruined the blower, thrown the timing out on the rotors. Things like that can go wrong. Essentially, when you have an explosion, it's 100 psi, and whichever valve's open first or your blow-off valve cops 100 psi, not 8 or 10 or 12. So, and that does damage internally. That's why I've gone to this extra trouble. It took me 18 months just to make the inlet manifold. I've got all of the core box and the pattern over there. I can run through that, and yeah, there's a lot of design and engineering in that. Here's the patterns that I used, that I made for the inlet manifold. To make a pattern, you must have a core. That's the part where the air travels inside your manifold. So this is the core box, and so they put that together. Then they fill that with a special treated sand. The sand has a glue in it. And then they gas the sand with CO2, and that sets the core. Then they take that out. You have a core, and then they place this pattern half into a sand box, into a core box. And then they put their pattern in, and then they also put that in another core box, and then they put the two together, and then they cast a manifold. A lot of work, but that's what I wanted. I also made a 2-piece cast air cleaner. The air cleaner that I made, did the wooden pattern, had it cast, and then did some final machining on it, and that just runs a flat panel element. So, and made a little bit, it draws through the bottom and the rest of the air comes through the top. Now we're looking at accelerator linkage here. Just a lazy 6 weeks of work there. I just bought the ends, it made all the rest of it's all stainless and a bit of aluminium. Throttle position switch and just some little loops for the wiring harness and vacuum on the top of the carby. A Tremec T5, an early one with a manual speedo and an F100 clutch, lightened, and the starter motor on the left hand side. Aftermarket screen oil filter. They're a good thing to have. And you will notice the back brace in it. This is a 5mm thick back brace that comes from a section from the back, from underneath through, and the body and the running boards hold it on. It's not welded to the car, and it comes right across, pivots off the centre with a heavy duty braced tunnel, and that is to stop the torsional twist because the chassis is not boxed. I didn't want to be welding up, I wanted to keep the chassis original, so my choice. Took a lot of work. I hadn't seen it done, and that goes in underneath the original floor where the battery riser is, particular to 36s. A heavy duty tail shaft with some good unis in it and some billet yokes, and in the front we've got a heavy duty high quality spherical rod end mounted in an assembly that I've fabricated. A lot of work there, but I needed something good. Nothing that I've ever found was suited what I wanted. So. An original 1939 40 diff with open drive shaft conversion, 9-inch Mosier axles, and a sway bar that I made. I'll talk a little bit about the fuel injection system. It's just a modern tanks incorporated fuel tank with a tanks incorporated high volume fuel pump, coming to a Holley regulator and a deadhead system, so that all the return is done at the rear. There's only a single line coming through to the front. On the front of the motor here, underneath, I've got a gauge, an internally ported manifold. So the two come to the top, and inside the manifold underneath is some fuel rails which have O-rings, and the pressure is held on the O-rings by some plates, and so that the fuel rail is held in there. Very difficult to fit them all underneath. That took a lot of engineering. I'm fairly proud of that. The accelerator here, there's another work of art. There's only 6 weeks work in that, with a throttle position switch at the back. So, I would hate to have paid somebody to do all of this work. A 1939-40 A-frame with some little chrome moly tubing underneath, just braced up, and that giving a bit more support to the original Ford A-frame. They were submersed arc welded from one end to the other, and you really sort of, it was a long time ago, so I needed something good. A log manifold is all I could fit in there. ARDUNs are not easy to fit. A full stainless steel exhaust. I made the mufflers, I made the dies for the end, I made the dies for all of the louvers inside. There's a little expansion chamber inside as well, and it took a long time, so yeah. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Cars fall into many different categories. Some are forever cars. Some are you're merely the custodian of for a little while and maintain them and look after them and pass them on down the track and enjoy them. So there's all different things to different people. I have some cars that I've restored. They're complete as original. Others that I've hot rodded to highly modified condition. This car, 36 3-window coupe. Consider this car a form of art. My trade as an aircraft fitter, making defence aircraft, gave me a lot of skills, and they've never left me and served me in my employment and now my hobbies. So I'm very grateful to have those skills. All I can say is it pays to invest in tools, equipment, buy the best that you can afford, lathes, mills, panel equipment, and videos. Other people's videos have been immense help. So look at those and learn your skills and get them up. Really important, and it just makes a better car at the end of the day. I've never cared about how long it takes to make a part, just as long as it's the best I can do and that I'm happy with it. If I'm not happy, do it again. I've extensively used stainless steel wherever possible and aluminium for weight. A lot of it's polished, and a lot of the details you'll see. I haven't copied many other cars. I've pretty well created everything along the way. Very important to me, and it's important when I design things that they look as though they grew there, that they're very organic to their environment. I don't like clutter, and it's important to have things looking right. So we'll see you in the next video. Stay safe.